triumphant weekend in Northern Ohio. LeBron James is looking to keep it rolling. He and the Lakers facing the stretch run and needing some wins. Like LeBron, Russell Westbrook was named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team, but he did not attend, instead celebrating his mom's birthday. And who knows, maybe Austin Reeves will be on the NBA's 100th anniversary team. The rookie has provided some key moments already this season. The Lakers try to pick up where they left off before the break, beating a team ahead of them in the standings. They'll need to do a lot of that down the stretch. It's the Lakers and Clippers at 7 o'clock right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Chris McGee. I'm joined by Allie Clifton, Big Shot, Robert Ory is here. Brez is down at the arena. We're going to hear from Trudell. James is whale watching. Big Game is not here.
Are you looking for whales over there?
Yeah, I'm looking for the whale, the 75 whale. Like, man, what James is?
Do you think Big Game's watching right now?
Yeah, no.
They're a couple
he's
hours
in Hawaii.
behind.
I guarantee he's having a James splash right now.
He's
smoking a cigar.
He's having a
good
worthy
time.
splash. Aloha, Big Game. We will hold it down for you. Let's get into it. After missing the last 5 games with a right hamstring strain, Carmelo Anthony has been upgraded to probable tonight against the Clippers. Melo was averaging 13 points in a roll off the bench for the Lakers before his injury. At shoot-around, Melo spoke to the media about whether this team is ready to make a run into the playoffs.
I think we built for it. I think we built for the second half of the season. I think we're built for a postseason. It's just things that we can't control. Injuries you can't control that. You don't know how that's going to come. You don't know the effect that that's going to have on that individual or the team as well. So those are things that we can't control. But I think now, the second half of the season, well, not even the second half of the season, there's 26 games left. So you're coming down to the tail end of the season. It's definitely something that we have to kind of change our approach and our mentality going down this stretch.
Allie and Rob, 24 games left. They are rested and they are ready for the push. Coming off a win against Utah right before the All-Star break. How do you create new momentum going forward? And you're going to have to do it without Anthony Davis.
For me, you have to sit back and say, hey, we are a championship caliber team. We didn't do what we were supposed to do the first half of the season. We're through the trading deadline. We're through All-Star. We're through all the distractions right now. Now it's time to focus and know this is our team we're going to use to the end of the season. And they got to come out and say, hey, what do we want? Do we want to be in the play-in game or do we want to be in the playoffs? And they need to say, hey, in these next 24, we got to at least win 20 of these games. They got to have that type of mindset where it's either do or die right now because they need to get out of that play-in spot.
I remember going back early in the season, there was a time, I believe it was that halftime in Sacramento, when they turned things around. It was a completely different second half. They got the win.
Remember that.
And Frank came into the locker room and said, if you guys really want to be champions, you have to stop talking about it. You have to be about it. So to your point, you have a decision to make. You either are going to show up, you're going to rise to the occasion and be who you said you guys want to be and have acted as if you were all season long, or you'll fold. And I think at the end of the day, it starts tonight, obviously, but you're gonna find out real quickly who this team really wants to be. And it's about the effort, the energy, and what they put out on the court, even without one of their biggest stars, Anthony Davis.
I would like to take both those speeches and bring them into the locker room tonight. I liked it. You were patient. You were both direct. You kind of nailed it.
Sometimes you have to be direct.
Sometimes you do.
You have to be a realist, too.
And sometimes you got to go watch the whales. There's go 2 different ways. For the latest on tonight's game, let's get you to Crypto.com arena. A refreshed Lakers reporter, Mike Trudell, joining us. Mike, how are we feeling? How was All-Star break?
It was great. I will say this, though, Geeter. You gave a speech when I was in the studio. Brez was on my left. You were on my right. And it was a great speech. And the Lakers came out and played really well. But then Anthony Davis got hurt again.
Oh,
so
that's right.
it's hard. That's the thing. It's been like this whole season, right? So my starting point with Frank Vogel was you had to watch a lot of film because we know that AD was already out for 20-plus games earlier this season. So I wondered, Chris, what did he see? And what can he apply, not just tonight, but as the Lakers try to make the run to get not necessarily into that tough to get to 6 spot at this point, being 6 back in the loss column, but at least like every single spot that you get makes the chances a little bit better that you can actually go on a run. So here's how Frank described that a couple moments ago.
Well, we tried a lot of different things. I think for the most part, I went down with COVID the same time Anthony did, and in an effort to try to win games, Coach Viz played a lot of small lineups, started Bron at center frequently, and not always, and there were some real offensive benefits to that. We didn't win a lot, during that stretch, and I think there's it's a balancing act, of trying to take advantage of, some of that space, but also having enough defensive size, to win games. So, there's a little bit of everything in those games.
How much do you plan on using LeBron at center in those spots, and is that going to be game to game, or are you going to try to stick to something?
Well, ideally we get to stick to something. There will be an element of this stretch of the season that will be game to game, but hopefully we can settle in, to something that's working for us. And him playing center will be, as always, or as the plan was with Anthony, to use it, as a balance. So we'll feel that out as the games go.
And have you gotten a sense from what that requires of LeBron defensively compared to since he's still doing what he typically does on offense, and how that's different from how he would play if AD's in there?
Yeah, it's tough to say. It's just a different responsibility more than harder or less hard. It's just a different responsibility, guarding the big and pick and roll coverage and whatnot, and as it is guarding the ball and doing some switching. So, he's able to do both. And to his credit, obviously, he picks that stuff up on the fly, and that's what makes him so great for us, is just that the versatility on both sides of the ball.
All right, guys, so Frank alluded to this, and some of the difficulty this season has been, all right, do you really go small and do that AD or LeBron at the 5? Well, now you can't do that. So do you go ultra small and start LeBron at the 5, or do you bring back your traditional centers into the mix? We'll see. Frank didn't reveal that just yet, but Dwight Howard has stepped in certain matchups like this against a guy like Ivica Zubac. So we'll see if they do that again here tonight against the Clippers.
Mike, welcome back. Good work. Let's get it rolling. 24 games to go. A fresh Mike Trudell, and that's what we all need. All right, keep it here for round 3 of the Hallway Series. This season, Malik Monk has been big in the first 2 games against the Clips, over 20 points and 4.5 assists per. Those SEC guys can actually play a little bit, can't they, Rob?
Yes, they can.
And straight ahead on access throughout his career, Russell Westbrook.
I think we built for the second half of the season. I think we're built for a postseason. It's just things that we can't control. Injuries you can't control that you don't.
Back on access, Russell Westbrook has been better historically in the second half, and the numbers will prove it. In his last 3 seasons, he's averaging around 25 points per game and shooting roughly 50% from the field. After yesterday's practice, Russ spoke about the similar situation he was in last year at this point of the season.
I don't know. I just have a different perspective. Like last year, I was 17, 18, 33 at some point when I was playing with the Wizards, and standings didn't mean to me at the time. Lock in every day, one day at a time, and next thing you look up, you're in a different position. To me, nothing different. With us, we're in position to be whatever in the play-in game or whatever that may be. Our job now is to make sure we take one day at a time, and that's it. Regardless of what position we're in, we got to beat whoever to get to where we need to get to. So it don't matter when you play them. If we play them early, cool. If we play them later, that's cool too. So to me, it really doesn't matter. And just making sure that our minds are in the right place. We got our energy and effort moving in the right direction.
So the numbers show you guys. You heard what Russ had to say. Historically, after All-Star break, his numbers are better. Should we expect anything different from Russ?
For me, I don't think you should. If you look at how he was playing right before All-Star break, he was kind of trending in the right direction. I know he had some games there where his turnovers went up, then went down, went up and down. I think for him, it's a mental thing. Now, psychologically, he said, okay, you know what? I'm a second half of the season type of player. You get the All-Star away and you get focused, because you think there's so many guys in the NBA when it's that time, your focus is so locked in, so laser focused that you perform at a high level. And I think that's who this guy is. He said it himself, so he's put himself out there. He's walking the plank right now, and he has to go out and perform because he's already told everybody, oh, I'm a second half of the season type guy.
So I agree with you in the sense that, yeah, he was trending in that right direction right before the All-Star break, where I believe that he does, or we do need to expect something different from his.